All right, here's the truth. Yesterday and most of last night was perhaps one of the worst, flattest, most embarrassing days for a political party at its convention in the history of conventions. And yet, the media and a lot of Democrats think the election's over because of last night. Because they think last night's convention was a home run, a grand slam home run. I'm telling you, the truth is that in terms of average Americans watching what's going on, that yesterday and last night was an absolute disaster for the Democrats. Folks, great to have you here. Telephone number if you want to be on the program is 800-282-2882. Email address lrushbaugh@eibnet.com. Must be a lot of fear on our side. Because I got people left and right that have been emailing me Clinton fact check articles. Rush, you got to set the record straight on Clinton. I didn't even watch Clinton. I saw 2 or 3 segments of Clinton. I got bored. I don't think he helped Obama at all last night. He pushed, Obama's waiting backstage to come out and accept accolades and stand in the great light of Bill Clinton. And what did Clinton do? Make him wait till 11:30 when the football game is at its most exciting. When everybody's watching the wrap up of the Giants and the Cowboys. That convention last night on the broadcast networks, the early numbers didn't even get a full rating point. It got a 0.9. The TV numbers are in. Now, they're quick and they're subject to revision. But it's fascinating for me to look at my email and what people send me because I can determine who's frightened or who's worried about what might have happened last night. I want to dissect this and share with you my opinions of it, as always, with audio sound bites of some of the things that happened. But I want you to try to understand I don't know how many of you are panicked because you think Clinton did well last night, but you have to keep in mind the Democrat Party and the media all wish they were sleeping with Clinton. There is a slavish, irrational, love-like attachment to this guy that is irrational, and it's not rooted in reality. And, of course, they think last night fixed whatever problems happened earlier in the day, or whatever might have gone wrong earlier in the evening, or whatever might have gone wrong the last 4 years. I'm telling you, they see Bill Clinton in a way that the vast majority of Americans do not. Tell me, do the candidates that Clinton endorses win? No. A sizable percentage of the American people looked at this convention last night and they hear contraception, abortion, women, victims, women this, women that, war on women. And then who do they see? Bill Clinton. Any party that would bring Bill Clinton on, highlight him, and Ted Kennedy, while at the same time claiming to have love and devotion, respect for women, is insane. In the real world, the connection doesn't work. I think it's for me, it is fascinating to watch what idolatry does to people's ability to be reasonable and rational. I'll show you what I mean with the when we get to the audio sound bites. There's a couple other observations. One thing I did see Clinton do that. So I don't think Clinton intended to help Obama that much. I think Clinton's out there for Clinton. He's being loyal to the party first, loyal to himself second. He used what I don't know if it's got a name for it or it's a device, but what he wanted to do was tell the audience that his 4 years smoked Obama's. But he couldn't come out and just say it that way. But he wanted them to conclude that. So what he did, and I'm paraphrasing it, what he does is,
I know that some of you may be out because I just went through my record, all the job creation and the bipartisan. I worked with the Republicans. I mean, there were so many slams of Obama in that Clinton speech. I can't begin to catalog them all. I was bipartisan. I worked with the Republicans. I was able to do that. I was able to get it done. This guy can't. He didn't say that, but that's the implication. And then he recounts his record. Took office, the worst economy the last 50 years, and look what happened. Well, I raised taxes, job creation, economic recovery. Now, I don't want y'all thinking here that the last 4 years have been, my 4 years clearly outdid the last four. Everybody knows that. But I don't want you thinking that. That'd be very unfair. I don't want you to make that kind of comparison. But he wanted everybody to make the comparison. So what he told the audience, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I know more about what I'm doing than this clown does. I don't want you thinking that way. It'd be wholly unfair. It'd be very unfair for you to think that I'm so much better at what I do than Obama is. That's exactly what he was doing. I know this guy, folks. I can channel this guy. I know liberals. I know how they do stuff. And there's Obama sitting back there waiting to come out. He doesn't even want to have to bask in Clinton's limelight, but that's all he's got. You know, when who was it that nominated? Well, it was Romney came out. Oh, and forget the point I'm trying to make is irrelevant. I'm just saying Obama's standing back there waiting to come out and bask in the glow, and Clinton goes on and on. I was going back and forth from Clinton to the football game, and I'm kidding you, not kidding you. Every time I went back to Clinton, that room looked flat. Now, I know there were periods of time where it wasn't. I'm not lost in my own illusion, but I'm telling you, he might have owned that room the first 5 or 10 minutes, but after that, he got lost in I, me, my, and his time and his ego. And that convention hall last night was a microcosm, a small microcosm of the small percentage of thinking in this country that is categorized by liberal. They're nowhere near majority of the population, majority of the thinking or what have you, and the media is in the same boat. And so there's a vast misunderstanding in that hall. But what had happened to her? For crying out loud, this is the bunch that got mad when they tried to put God back in their platform. They got mad. They booed God. They booed the process of putting God back. And they think they had a winning convention night last night. They think they won the election last night. And we come to find out, because the news came from on high. It was reported that when Obama found out that God had been taken out of convention, he called somebody, you put it back in. Well, guess who was in charge of taking it out in the first place? Obama. He knew presidents are the platform. He knew that it wasn't in there, and he knew this business about Israel and Jerusalem wasn't in there. He wanted it that way. Then all hell broke loose, and they had to put it back in. And then, of course, I had to feel sorry for poor Villaraigosa going out there, because look what this guy's up against. And what does it say for the Democrat process when the vote was ignored? The real vote was ignored, and the convention leaders just did what they wanted to do anyway. That convention doesn't want God in their platform. That bunch of Democrats wants God nowhere near them. And there's no other way of analyzing it. So Villaraigosa goes out there, calls for the vote, and you can see it on his face. Oh, my God. Oh, what do I do? Because the teleprompter told him what to say. But if he said, the no's clearly outnumbered the yeas in terms of putting God back in. And he had to sit there and pretend that the yeas won. He couldn't do it the first. Here, let's go. Let's just listen to it. I have to play this myself. I have to get it on the record on this program. The Democrat Party, as you will hear with sound bites as we get into the rest of the program, they think they won the election last night. That may be one of the best events or the best results of last night. They think it's in the bag now.
strictly because of Bill Clinton. They think it's in the bag. Oh, and folks, you know, CNN has a stalker, Carol Costello. She's the correspondent that follows me, and she's interviewing Alex Castellanos. And Kit, be on the lookout every time I mention Castellanos. He calls and filibusters and demands to come on the program to correct what I say about him. Or he sends you an email, whatever. He's a Republican consultant. Alex Castellanos, he's on CNN last night. And Carol Costello is desperately worried that Obama's not going to be able to outshine Bill Clinton. And Castellano says, yeah, I'm going to tell you, this election's over. I got an email from a woman who said she watched Clinton last night, wanted to do two things. I wanted to sleep with him, and I want to vote for him. This is over, Carol. Costello says, well, you know, Obama, he just does so much better outdoors than indoors. Is there any way, Alex, that Obama can... I got the sound bites. You will hear this. The Republican consultant on CNN said last night it's over. Cokie Roberts thinks it's over. Gloria Borger thinks it's over. But Joe Trippi on Fox was so embarrassed. Joe Trippi, after what was no, right before Warren, right before they went to Warren, there was a little time for panel up there, and Joe Trippi, who ran Howard Dean's campaign in 2004, when it was his turn to comment, he didn't want to say it. He was so depressed. Look, it's a little flat tonight. Yeah, it's not what it was the night before. Yeah, it's a little flat. And then he started with the excuse making. And Joe Trippi had it right. And Dick Morris was tweeting all throughout Clinton's speech, just thrashing Clinton. What a horrible speech that Clinton was giving. The contrast is amazing. The people who think it's over because Clinton gave a great speech is a testament to how in the tank the media and Democrats are for Clinton. They have no ability to relate to reality, particularly as it affects real people. Now, here's Villaraigosa, as they're desperately trying to put God back in their convention. One, yeah, and it's God-given. That's the phrase, God-given. One little mention, and it's torn the convention apart. One mention of God, and it sent this place into a tizzy. So we got two of these. Here's the first of two sound bites. The L.A. Mayor, Antonio Villaraigosa.
All those delegates in favor say aye. All those delegates opposed say no. In the opinion of the... Let me do that again.
Yeah, good.
All of those delegates in favor say aye. All those delegates opposed say no. I guess.
You've got to rule, and then you've got to let them do what they're going to do.
I'll do that one more time.
That was the woman said. It looked a little bit like Elizabeth Warren, but it wasn't her. You got to rule, Mayor. You got to rule, and then you got to let them do what they're going to do. You've got to rule. You got to do it. Okay. I kept looking off to the side, looking for guidance. And he doesn't want to sit there and act happy and proud that God is not requested to be present at the Democrat convention. So here's how it ended.
All those delegates in favor say aye. All those delegates opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, 2/3 have voted in the affirmative. The motion is adopted, and the platform has been amended as shown on the screen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
They're booing a couple. They're booing the process. We have to admit that because there was no democratic process here. The votes didn't matter. Delegates, it didn't matter how they were going to vote. This was a preordained, the Messiah called them and said, God's going to be back in there tonight. And they booed. And they booed not only the process, but they booed the fact that they had to put God back in. What? In front of the whole country. Now, you might be saying, well, yeah, but Rush, it happened like 5 or 6 times. Oh, no. This has been replayed in more places than Bill Clinton's speech. This has been everywhere. This is on YouTube. This is wherever anybody can watch video. This is and has been and will continue to be. And then, of course, we have the Huffing and Puffington Post accusing the Democrats of caving by putting God back in the convention. And they think they won last night. They think that the election's over after last night. Let's take a brief timeout, my friends. We'll come back. Let us start with Elizabeth Warren, because I have to tell you, she persuasive speaker. She convinced me that things are so terrible in America right now that there's no way we should reelect Obama.
After